Hello and welcome to another GreenStuffWorld video. In this video I'm going to show you how to paint a red cloth using the new Max Formula range paints from GreenStuffWorld. We're starting over a black primer with a white Senator, and we're going to use WONKA Violet to cover the whole surface of the miniature. Okay, so now that we've got the whole miniature base coated with the WONKA Violet, we're going to move on to the first highlight colour, which is going to be SANGRIA Red. When painting red, I like to highlight it using more red. So I normally start from a dark red, and as I move up through the highlights, I use stronger and more saturated reds until I reach the final highlights. So with this first highlight, we're going to cover all the volumes and we're going to leave the shadows in the colour of the previous step. Right, so now that we have all our volumes highlighted and all the shadows marked, we're going to move on to the next colour, which is Cutthroat Red. But before we apply it, we need to prepare the area with a lighter colour. If we don't do this step, it's going to be harder for us to gain saturation with the new reds that we apply over the darker layers. So now with Peach Flesh, we're going to highlight all the areas where we want to apply the new red on top. These will be all the volumes that we marked in the previous step, but instead of totally covering them with this peach colour, we're going to cover them about 75–80%. Leaving part of the previous colour behind. Okay, so now we just have to cover all these areas that we've just done with the Cutthroat Red. And now, as you can see, I just have to do one layer over the previous highlight and we gain full saturation with the colour. And now we're going to continue highlighting smaller areas inside of the previous highlights. This way we'll concentrate the light more and more on each step. And same as before, I cover all the highlight areas of the previous step, but leaving part of that step behind. Okay, so once I've highlighted all the volumes again, I'm going to use this magenta dipping ink. This way I'll make the red of the back of the miniature have a more cold feeling. And same as before, we cover all the highlights that we did in the previous step. Right, so now we're going to move on to the front of the miniature and we're going to repeat the same process as before. First, using the light colour, we're going to prepare all the highlight areas, and because I want the front of the miniature to have a more warmer feeling, I'm going to use Red Truth to cover all those highlight areas. And after that I repeat the process again, preparing first the area with a lighter colour and at the same time reducing the highlight areas. Now to cover those highlights, I'm going to use fluorescent red. This will give a massive punch to the red, resulting in a very saturated red. And now, as a little bonus, I'm going to do a quick OSL on the front of the image. The process is the same as before. We're going to use a light colour first to prepare the area where we want to apply the OSL. For the OSL colour, I'm going to use fluorescent orange, and I glaze over those highlights that I just did. Right, so now for the final step, I'm going to go back to WONKA Violet and recover all those shadows that I might have lost during the highlight process. Recovering the shadows will increase the contrast and also help with definition. Right, so this is the final result. I hope you've enjoyed the video and try this process at home. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.